Hello, beautiful souls. It's Reverend Chris talking to you today, your favorite non-denominational ordained minister from Detroit. My face is puffy, my eyes are puffy. I'm having allergy trouble today, so if I look funny. But I wanted to really do a different kind of topic today. I wanted to talk to you about self-centered people or being offended by self-centered people. This was an idea actually from my husband. He thought this would be a good topic because of some things that have been going on recently with friends, actually more than one friend. And I decided I don't want to really get into the specifics of the situation in case people that are involved see the video. We're still friends, and I don't want to really name any names or be specific, but a couple of friends that were friends for quite a while have kind of offended my husband and I due to them being self-centered. And pretty much just to sum up the situation, after my husband and I brought to this one person's attention that they offended us, and what they did was not right. They really at first didn't apologize, and they kind of tried to just, change the subject and then give 1,000 excuses and reasons why they did what they did and kind of tried to, justify their actions. The way I feel is if you have a friend that you say is really a true friend coming to you and telling you in person that you have offended them, the first thing you should do is say you're sorry and apologize, whether you feel you're really sorry or not, or whether you've processed it or not, what's, the situation. Not come up with 1,000 excuses and reasons why what you did was okay. And the other person, it was quite a few months ago. It was an ex-coworker of mine. I thought we were really close. We talked about a lot of personal things. And then he kept asking me for money, like all the time. And the first couple times I gave him a little bit of money. And my policy on that is if it's just a little bit of money, I don't really expect it back. But once you start kind of expecting me to give you money all the time or getting offended if I don't give it to you, then I start questioning what is our friendship really about. He ended up showing his true colors, and we're no longer friends, but he was someone who I think did offend me and was very self-centered. He wasn't really thinking about the position he was putting me in, asking me for money. He wasn't really thinking about our friendship being at risk by his actions. So I think this has happened a lot in at least my life, but probably everyone's life. So I wanted to bring it up. And the Bible has a lot of things to say about self-centered people. Of course, Jesus always says be quick to forgive, but you kind of don't really let your guard down. That doesn't mean what they did was okay. So that's kind of my policy. I do always forgive. I try to just, let it go and move on most of the time. But I feel like the problem with self-centered people is when you try to sit down with them and talk about why you're offended or what their actions made you feel like, it's impossible for them to understand because they're so self-centered they can't think outside of their self. They're unable to empathize with someone else's feelings. They're only able to think in terms of how they feel. So it's really hard to get someone to be humble who lacks humility. It's really hard to get somebody to understand that they've offended you if they only think of their self and they are unable to see how you feel. And it's really hard for somebody to admit they're wrong when they feel they're never wrong. So that's kind of the lesson. The Bible has so many things to say about being offended and forgiving everyone, let it go, and don't hold anyone to a debt and kind of things like that. But I think that's a good policy in life always to do, but always kind of be cautious afterward with that person, because if they weren't really learning the first time that they offended you, or they don't feel like any of their actions are ever wrong, then how can you have a really healthy friendship after that? So that's kind of a place I'm at with one of the friends right now. And the half apology I got later was kind of terrible too. So I really don't feel like I've been able to move on yet. It's been very recent, so I will be moving on probably soon. But I just want to, I think that's a real life thing that happens to a lot of us throughout our life with different people that we call friends. So The first verse, I found two verses that I really liked. I didn't want to find 25 verses this time, because it is kind of more of a down topic, not like a happy, joyous topic. I just want to say, like, I love making these videos, and they're usually positive if you haven't watched these before, and I'm always happy most of the time. And I really am truly blessed in my life. I have nothing to complain about, and I'm thankful. But I do want people to learn from these, or to take something from them that they can apply to their life. And life isn't always happy and fun. So the first verse is Philippians 2, Philippians 2:3. Let nothing be done through strife or vulgarity, but in lowliness of mind, and let each esteem other better than themselves. And then number 4 says, look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others. So they're saying all your actions in your life, or the Bible's saying all your actions in your life, you want to put other people first. You don't want to do them out of a place of being vulgar, being lonely, having low self-esteem. The outcome will never be positive if you do those things. So that's Philippians 2, 3, and 4. And I feel like the verse is kind of saying to me, always before you speak, before you do an action, if there's other people involved, think of how it will affect the other person. Most people, it seems like these days, don't realize their actions affect other people. A decision they make may affect others, whatever it may be. If they decide to take a drink before they get in the car, it could affect other people. If they, steal something from work, it could affect other people. Whatever the thing is that you do, think before you do it, how it could affect someone else. And that you can't go wrong if you sit and think first before you do an action, instead of just impulsively doing something. And the other verse is Titus 1:10. And that's a really short book in the Bible that I love. Oh, today, by the way, I'm using my Grandma Booba's Bible again. And I'm wearing the white hoodie for my sister. So Titus 1:10. For there are many unruly and vain talkers and deceivers, especially they of the circumcision. So basically saying people nowadays talk just about themselves. They're very vain, and they can be deceitful. And I think a lot of people don't even realize that they've become this way. And they don't think, oh, how can what I'm saying is a lie affect someone? How can what I'm doing to deceive affect someone? So if you have your guard up as a Christian, to be on the lookout for these people, at least you will be aware of the real situation and what's going on. I think God will show you, if you ask for knowledge, what the actual situation is, what the truth is. It always comes out somehow. I just want to thank everyone that watches these videos as usual. I enjoy doing them so much, and I love you all. I hope you have a blessed week, and I hope that something I said in this helps you in some way, and it helps you to study the Bible. So have a wonderful week.